morning. It's a nice early morning. I know everybody is very busy, so we're going to get through this as quickly as we can. We have a couple really good bills today. So I would like to call this meeting of the House Game and Fisheries Committee to order. Aaron, would you take the roll call?
Chair Kulik,
Here.
Rep Davison,
Here.
Rep Doherty, Rep Gungenauer, Rep Gentz, Rep Haddock, Rep Harris,
Here.
Rep Hohenstein,
Here.
Rep Inglis,
Here.
Rep Kazim,
Hello, Rep. Go ahead.
Rep Kazim,
Here.
Rep Mirsky,
Here.
Rep Rusnick,
Here.
Rep Steele,
Rep Steele is online. Thank you. Here.
and Rep Young.
Here.
Chair Maloney,
Here.
Rep Anderson, Rep Banta, Rep Cook, Rep Devanzo, Rep Kerwin, Rep Kuzma. I have a designation. Rep Labs, Rep Olsummer,
Here.
Rep Reichert, Rep Smith, Rep Wintley. We have a quorum.
Thank you. So the chair calls up House Bill 800, printer number 810. Griffin, can you give us a summary of this bill, please?
Yes, Chair. House Bill 800 is sponsored by Representative Joe Emmerich. This legislation criminalizes interference of trail cameras and devices used to record wildlife visually. Essentially, a person may not disrupt a game camera or other recording equipment which is intended for use in the lawful taking of wildlife. The offense carries a penalty of a first-degree summary offense, which is not less than $1,000 nor more than $1,500, and may be sentenced to imprisonment for up to 3 months. Furthermore, the offender shall have their hunting privileges revoked, with or without a license, for 1 year. The effective date is 60 days.
Thank you. Chair Maloney, any
Yeah,
comments?
sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So just a few things here that I wanted to just put out there in the public, and that is the fact that first and foremost, I think what we have found is that most individuals who participate in this kind of theft are usually up to something else. So let's be honest and know that, you know, some of these actors are, in my experience, doing something else. And they're usually trying to hide some activity or their own private property. They've never had permission. They refuse to get permission. And so there's usually something else that has perpetuated a step in their life that makes them go a little bit more extreme. So I wanted to make sure that we knew that that was a part of this issue. There are some other things that I think are concerning. Many of you know that there is a case against the Game Commission that has to do with them placing cameras on private property, and that's in court. So we know that there are some ancillary issues that are sort of making their way around this issue. I also think that maybe the Game Commission ought to really consider, I've mentioned this to them before, that they ought to consider really what's allowable on state game land, because we have people who are unexpectedly being videoed and or taken picture of without their knowledge. And we know that cameras are everywhere. So it is somewhat of a problem that we have to deal with, even if you're walking down the street, we'll say. So those things are real. I just want to make sure that the conversation has been put out there and that we're aware of the fact that we have this conflict. But this bill is addressing theft and intentional destruction of personal property, and I believe it's necessary. So thank you, Madam Chair, and I fully support it.
Thank you. The question is, will the committee report the bill? On that question, does anyone else have any comments on the bill? Are there any negative votes on the bill? Okay, on that, we have no negative votes, therefore the bill is reported from committee. Thank you. All right, next, the chair calls up House Bill 968, printers number 1049. Paul, can you read a summary, please?
Yes, this House Bill 968 would amend Title 30 and Title 34 to provide that any person who possesses a valid active duty military fishing or hunting license or a disabled veteran license in another state may fish or hunt in the Commonwealth. It is if that state has entered into a reciprocal agreement with Pennsylvania. Under this legislation, the Attorney General would be tasked with negotiating and entering into reciprocal agreements with other states for active duty military and disabled veteran fishing and hunting licenses, and granting recognition of those licenses issued by other states where appropriate.
Thank you. The question is, will the committee report the bill? On that question, anyone wish to be recognized? Chair Maloney?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe some of these initiatives have been done in the past and been fully supportive of a lot of the outreach, if you will, especially to the veterans and such. But I would be remiss if I did not mention that there's a few concerns. I support it, and I have supported it in the past, but I just want to make a few things known in all fairness to the bigger picture. Nationally, this has been brought to my attention in the groups that I have attended out of state in different venues. And the concern is that depending on how many of these provisions we make, it's a loss of license revenue, and it can be concerning maybe for one agency more so than another. So that can be vetted, that can be talked about. I just wanted to be clear that some of this revenue, if you will, with the enforcement and the other things that go along with it, have somewhat of a financial burden. The other part of it is the AG's office. So I understand that the AG's office does not want to get involved with the reciprocal agreements with the other states, and they have not come out with a statement, but it is a concern because it puts sort of the responsibility on them to create this reciprocal agreement. But I just want that to be out there so that we know that we can work through some of these things if and how we go forward. So we support it, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Representative Haddock.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just curious if we knew the chair's comments. Do we know how many other states do issue free licenses for active duty military, and how many do issue for our disabled veterans, and that's 100% disabled? Do we have an idea how many states actually have the same program as Pennsylvania?
Hey, Paul, can you?
Yes. So right now, Pennsylvania isn't into these agreements with anyone. So I would say certain other states have similar programs. For example, Arkansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Tennessee, Maryland, Virginia, and Kentucky have some form of it. Now, that's including both hunting and fishing, right? So These may just be some fishing or hunting. I can get a better breakdown for you specific. And I do know some of the western states have some version of this as well.
Yeah, no, and I'm sorry, Paul. I meant to call you and ask you that question, so I didn't mean to. But the other half of this, we always say to a veteran, "Thank you for your service." And I just have a problem with the comments that people are worried about a little bit of income when you have people that are 100% disabled and currently serving our military. So sometimes we have to put a dollar figure on that. Thank you for your service, and actions speak louder than words. And I would hope that if this bill gets passed this session, that our Attorney General would not balk at it. That would be totally disappointing if he did. Thank you.
Thank you. Griffin, do you have any information?
Yes, I did a little bit of research into what other states have similar programs to ours, and about 30 of our 50 states offer free licenses or exemptions for veterans, and 19 states provide discounted licenses.
Thank you. Chair Maloney?
Yeah, and I appreciate that data because I hope that helps you, Representative. The other part of it is that it isn't specific to 100% disability. So just to clear that up, it would be any and all veterans. So just again, for clarification of numbers and what you would compare apples to apples, it's not just about 100% disability, it's about all veterans. So thank you.
Thank you. Are there any negative votes? Seeing none, the bill will be reported. I want to thank everybody. There is no further business before this committee, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.